Hi there, 2D Design. Okay, so we are working on the project where I had you cut out or find some images that were representational from either magazines or online prints, or if you wanted to take your own pictures, building a theme, and then also writing a one-sentence short story, which is kind of building upon what we had done in the last project where we picked 2 words, but now we're moving into something a little deeper. And then from that, I asked you to create 6 compositional studies by tracing the object and then adding something, a big flat shape, and then adding some smaller shapes and considering your mark making. And then I asked you to look at those statements that I put together that said where you put something implies content and helps kind of clarify your story. So then the idea is after you have 6 of them, that you choose 3 that you really love, and then we're gonna turn them into something like this. I'm gonna have a Pinterest board with some online examples, but this is kind of a finished project. And you're gonna make 3. And we're gonna start to introduce paint at a very early kind of level. And this one doesn't have the line work on it yet, but you can see how this drawing made this one, and this one made this one, and this one will become this. But before we get to this stage, I just wanted to talk a little bit about paint. Talk about your tools, the materials that you have. So I'm gonna set these aside for now. We're gonna do a couple little paint swatches to start with. We're gonna make something that kind of looks like this. This is in our Blue Mixed Media sketchbook, this book. And I got you these mixed media books in your kit because they take the paint a little better. We're gonna make something that is similar to this little color swatch exercise. So we'll have this for in a minute, but I just wanted to really quickly talk through some of the tools. So this came in your kit. This is a little palette box that seals like Tupperware. And what's cool about this is that once you get your acrylic paint going in it, you can keep it for a really long time. It'll stay wet, which is counterintuitive to what we think acrylic plastic paint can do. But we can keep it for quite some time. I've been known to keep one of these boxes running for like 6 weeks. So that is really cool. So you take the lid off, and then you have this stay wet paper. And what you do is you take a piece of the paper, and it has instructions here that you can read, and it says that you want to put the paper under tap water that's super hot and let it soak for a little while. I often, to be honest, will just like kind of run it under water and then put it in here like so. I'll do that in a minute when I'm off camera. Okay, so then you can put the stay wet paper aside. You have in the kit just a pretty inexpensive student grade little packet of brushes. You have these flat synthetics. There's a couple small rounds and the rest are flats. And then you also have some fake sable hair, like what would work like watercolor brushes, and then these hog hair ones that are bristly. But for this exercise, I want you to just start with the blue ones. And most likely, you'll probably only use the 2 flats. You might use these depending on your design, but let's just start with these. Okay, you're gonna need a little cup of water. You're gonna need a towel. I have like a little painting rag, but you can tear up a old t-shirt, or something fabric, and if all fails, you can just use a piece of paper towel. But that is gonna be a really important part of this. Okay, and then if you have a little spray bottle, this will come in handy too. I can't remember if I put one in your kit. I think I did, but any kind of old spray bottle will work. Not 100% necessary, but will be helpful. And then you've got a little plastic palette knife in your kit. You're gonna need that. And then the paint. So in the next unit, we're gonna really get into color theory. This is kind of like a slow entrance into it. And you can see that I had you get a color theory set. So what that means is that you have the primaries, the yellow, red, and blue. You have a white and a black, and then I got you an extra white because you're probably gonna go through quite a bit of that. Make sure you don't throw away your mixing guide because we can use this when we get into color theory in the next unit. This gets really fun. Okay, so after we do the painting like this, after we do the swatches and then this, then the next thing you'll need for this project is I used my paint markers, the Posca paint markers that came in the kit to do the design line work. So you'll want to have these. You also have a white gel pen that came in the kit that you might want to use. And then in the reading for this, I said, do not use your microns over the paint. You can use your microns on the clean paper, but if you use them on the paint, it will damage those. So make sure not to use those, but to use the paint markers or the gel pens. You can also use graphite, that can work too. We will explain. Okay, so I think I just talked through all the different parts. Oh, I guess if you want to bring your tape, your masking tape, we can practice with those too. So I'm going to turn off the video. That's kind of our intro to our stuff. And then I'm going to wet my paper, put it back in here, and we'll pick back up with starting some value scales. Okay, see you in a second.